The following program, Know the Cause, is paid for by Nutrition Incorporated.
Still, so many doctors don't know about fungus. Oh, bacteria. Oh, virus. Protozoa. But fungus, why aren't they teaching this in medical training?
But the castor oil, do it every day, and it'll help with the skin tags and all the cysts and all those little things.
Organic versus non-organic is a big question. I think local farmers market seasonal is probably better than organic, especially if you're getting organic from 600 to 1,000 miles away from you, 2,000 miles away.
And I'm back with another Kaufman-approved recipe. I am making a very simple spinach artichoke dip, which would be considered Kaufman too.
But so many people call arthritis, okay? So let's define it and let's talk about it. Those of you who got out of bed this morning and, oh, it hurts so bad you can hardly walk down the hall into the bathroom.
For the past 45 years, I have dedicated my life and my whole career to finding the root cause of disease. And I now know with certainty that we must play a role in our own health care. I'm a self-care advocate, and you know what? Every time you change your diet for the better, exercise, or swallow a nutritional supplement, so are you. Now welcome to Know the Cause.
You know, I've been at this for, 22 consecutive years on television, Know the Cause, the show you're watching right now. And yet still, so many doctors don't know about fungus. Oh, bacteria. Oh, virus. Protozoa. But fungus, why aren't they teaching this in medical training? They will soon, I predict. Let's study this. So, does fungus actually cause human illness? Now, just go with me, and at the end of this 5 or 6 minutes, I'll have an answer for you, okay? International Academy for Research on Cancer, they're called IARC. 5 poisons made by fungus, these are called mycotoxins, are listed as possibly carcinogenic to humans. They're called fumonisin, fumonisin B2, fusarin C, ochratoxin A, and sterigmatocystin. But one fungal mycotoxin is a known human carcinogen. Aflatoxin B1 is the only mycotoxins tested by the FDA in our food supply. Folks, when I say our food supply, we're talking wheat and corn, whole wheat, corn, peanuts. I mean, it's so amazing that we commonly may be getting into this in feeds, which is what animals eat, much more prevalent, but then we eat the animal. In foods, less prevalent, depending on where you are. Sub-Sahara, where maize and peanuts are eaten often, bad problems with these mycotoxin-induced diseases. A lot of liver cancer there because a lot of corn and a lot of peanuts are eaten, okay? Zearalenone, a fusarium mold mycotoxin, this one scares me. In foods and feeds in our U.S. meat supply. It concluded the low dose of zearalenone can exert estrogen-like effects and carcinogenic properties. There you have it, from a journal called Toxins in 2018, causes cancer, which can stimulate the production of cells, while in addition, a high dose of zearalenone can cause cell death through induction of cell cycle arrest, oxidative stress, DNA damage, mitochondrial damage, and apoptosis, or cell death. Folks, this is not in the world, but in North America, Canada, and the US, this mycotoxin is added to our meat supply. It's estrogenic, so the cow will grow very quickly within a matter of months instead of years, and that's what they want, is for a cow to grow very quickly. Fungi accelerate pancreatic cancer. The impact of fungi on human health is understudied and underappreciated. There, they said it, Nature magazine, thank you. One genus of fungus called Malassezia has now been linked to progression of pancreatic cancer. Malassezia is a genus of fungi. It's found naturally on human skin surfaces. Somehow, folks, it gets inside our body and impacts negatively the pancreas. So we end up with pancreatic cancer. I mean, my opening question, can fungus hurt us? Look. Antifungal drug treats skin cancer. You've all heard of basal cell carcinoma, right? Affects about 3 million people in America each year. A common antifungal treatment called Sporanox or itraconazole may be useful in treating basal cell carcinoma. So, a drug that kills fungus also treats skin cancer? Doesn't that tell a dermatologist that basal cell carcinomas have a fungal etiology? And folks, they're using itraconazole for breast and prostate, an antifungal drug. All it does is kill fungus. It doesn't kill cancer. And they're scratching their heads wondering how this could it be the cancer cells might be mistaken and they're really fungal cells? I mean, I don't know the answer to that. Get this one. Bone cells get yeast infections. Candida glabrata, that's second only to Candida albicans, survives and replicates in human osteoblasts. Opportunistic pathogen, second only to Candida albicans, says pathogens and diseases in the year 2016, 5 years ago. Might this lead to osteoporosis or thinning of the bones? Common sense says it really might. And here, fungi accelerate viral virulence. One Aspergillus fungal mycotoxin called aflatoxin causes 40% of the liver cancer in Africa, where it's commonly found in their diet. Aflatoxin not only causes liver cancer, but studies have confirmed that it makes viral infections like AIDS and human papillomavirus more deadly by increasing viral virulence. I mean, it's amazing that nobody's looking at this. Billions, trillions of dollars going into viral research. More antibiotics are needed. Fungus? Finally, does fungus cause human illness? Can I get an amen from the audience? Absolutely, yes, it does. And this is only a tiny part of all the things that fungus does once inside the human body. I hope that helps. I've never heard you guys talk about Essiac tea. I kind of like it.
I kind of like it too, and it's stood the test of time. It's been used for many, many years, and it's got some great herbs in there, anti-cancer herbs and liver herbs. Mm-hmm. And when you see, cancer cannot get a hold on the body if the liver is working at its optimum performance. And so these Essiac tea, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of them have strong antifungal properties.
They all do.
So yeah. There you are, antifungal, liver booster, anti-cancer.
My husband has appendix cancer. Wow. Nephrostomy tubes, continual UTIs, constant infections. What would you recommend to heal his gut microbiome? I think that's so neat. Now, all the research, folks, they're saying cancer. They're stating it. Cancer isn't a breast or a prostate problem. It's a gut problem. You gotta start here. No sense in fixing this if this is still bad, right?
Absolutely. We're all connected.
Yeah, we're all connected. Appendix cancer, nephrostomy, continuous UTIs. I've always liked cranberry.
Be interesting to know what the history is. Has the appendix been taken out? I guess.
I know. Yeah, maybe not, because he's got.
And the medication that can certainly cause the UTIs, but he's really got to get his microbiome back into balance, and D-mannose is concentrated cranberry.
Yep.
And when it's really bad, you can take a teaspoon every half hour. Do you know what some people say? But Barbara, is that safe? Cranberry? Don't get me started on safe. You wouldn't believe what they're injecting into newborn babies.
Oh, let's
talk about safe.
Don't even start me on this. But I'm sick of fake websites. Apparently, it's all because you're popular. This wouldn't be happening to you if you weren't so popular. What's your real website? How can people really find you?
Doug, this is official.
Ta-da!
OfficialBarbaraO'Neill.com.
Official Barbara O'Neill with 2 L's.
With 2 L's, and if you go there, you'll go to all my social media sites. But the castor oil, do it every day, and it'll help with the skin tags and all the cysts and all those little things.
Oh, that's so good. Your history is so fascinating. I mean, folks, I don't know if you know, but this all started with Barbara when she took her, little girl to a doctor. A few months and the 5th antibiotic later, they were talking about a 6th antibiotic. You see, the Center for Disease Control in America has told us since 2017 to think fungus. If you're not getting better on the drug, like you just said, 20 years on this drug and you're still on it, if you're not getting better, ask your doctor
So, Doc, this I don't think is a bacterial problem. Given that our pillows harbor so much fungus, and we wham our head on them at night, think fungus.
I call him America's favorite doctor. Dr. Fred Pescatore has been a friend of mine for many, many years. Susie, your friend, Susie Cohen,
Yes.
is America's pharmacist. Why not you being America's doctor? One of the reasons I have loved the past couple of decades that I've known you is your answers are not standard physician answers. As a matter of fact, you question a lot of what I question and Susie questions and the people we see here on Know the Cause. We talked a little bit about the flu shot, and you said, okay, there's two ways to go, one of which is to take the flu shot, and the other is to defend your immune system.
Right.
Talk to me about the importance, and we dealt with this a little bit, but take it a step further, of diet, not only in September, October, November as the cold weather, flu weather is coming upon us, but to prevent some of the major symptoms, and if you will, talk about it preventing major diseases.
Well, I think diet can prevent every major disease that we are killing ourselves over now. I mean, we are faced with 6 out of the 10 leading causes of death in the United States are from how we eat. That is pathetic. I mean, so we're this great nation, wealthy, all of this other nonsense, right? And yet we're one of the sickest nations on the planet. It's so we've eaten ourselves into these epidemics. I firmly believe we can eat ourselves out of these epidemics, but we've got to be able to get the right information. We've got to be able to disseminate that information. We've got to make food acceptable, cheap, readily available to people. And we don't do that. We are set up as a nation to not be able to distribute healthy food. We cannot distribute healthy food to the masses.
Right.
We can distribute unhealthy food to the masses. And I could talk about this forever. I mean, it's just the supply chain is not set up to deliver healthy food to everybody in all the corners. And it's not, we hear about these food deserts and we hear about all these, that's a bunch of hogwash. I mean, the real bottom line is there's in no one's best interest for us to be healthy. It's in everyone's best interest for us not to be healthy. So that includes the pharmaceutical companies, that includes hospitals, that includes cancer. Could you imagine if you came up with a cure for cancer, or even decrease the cancer rate by 1%? It'd
be huge.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine how much money those organizations will all be losing?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an incredibly. I always tell my patients, and in my newsletters, I always tell people, follow the money trail. Yeah. And if you follow the money trail, you'll find out where it is and why people are doing these things to us, because it's being done to us. We're little lambs being led off to slaughter when it comes to this sort of thing.
It feels like that. It really does, Dr. Pescatore.
Because it is, because it's true.
And just cancer, we now know that alcohol increases the risk of breast cancer and colon cancer. And we know that berries and this ellagic acid in these seeds that we eat, blueberries and so forth, blackberries, is very therapeutic. So we found that greens help prevent, but that isn't ready in mass production. We have to go to a health food store and pay a little more for that. So while I have you, organic versus non-organic.
Okay, organic versus non-organic is a big question. I think local farmers market seasonal is probably better than organic, especially if you're getting organic from 600, 1,000 miles away from you, 2,000 miles away. That is not any close to any organic. Then I'd rather have something that was grown a block away from me than was grown 3,000 miles away from me. I think organics you have to be careful with. I mean, because there are no standards. Again, our government has set no standards for these things. So who's setting the standards for them? The people who are producing them.
Growers.
Exactly.
Wow, Dr. Fred Pescatore, I love this guy. You flip him on and he runs. That is really good. Thank you. Thank you for coming all the way to
My
Texas.
pleasure, always.
By the way. And welcome back, friends. Oh, man, look at me. When I look at me on camera, there was a time when the shirt was white and the hair was black. I mean, it happens so quickly, right? Don't blink. It's amazing to look at me as an old guy. I still feel so good. Thank you for joining me right now. When I moved to Texas in 1987, the kids were small. Ruth and I just packed up and moved out this way from Los Angeles. I visited some of Dr. Weekly's patients in the early weeks there. Some of them told me they had arthritis. I thought, okay. The movie Arthur came out as popular, but what in the world is arthritis?
I finally figured out from Dr. Weekly they mean arthritis, but so many people call arthritis, okay? So let's define it and let's talk about it. Those of you who got out of bed this morning and, oh, it hurts so bad you can hardly walk down the hall into the bathroom. Folks, my producer and I laugh about this a lot. We both kind of move down the hall slowly, but it's because we worked out so hard at the gym the day before that we're a little bit stiff. It isn't old Arthur taken over us, okay? So here we go. What is arthritis? Arthro is Greek, or ARTH is Greek for joint, and itis means swelling, inflammation. Inflammation may occur in one or more joints, as most of you guys know, especially as we age. Like cancer and heart disease, experts tell us that there's over 100 different types of Arthur. There's Arthur Smith, Arthur Jones. Drugs are prescribed to ease the inflammation. And is there no shortage of drugs on the market? Anti-inflammatories. Did you know NSAIDs, these are natural anti-inflammatories. They increase the gap in the epithelial cells in the gut, so gut leakage can start. No doctor understands that, and so he's not going to counsel his patient. But very often, when you take a lot of NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, you get food allergy. The next thing is food allergy. Why? The milk, the eggs, the wheat, the cereal are beginning to leak through, okay? Talk to your doctor about that. It's very well documented. Arthritis and fungus. Here's what I think, folks. Here's what I think the key to understanding arthritis is. Many fungi or many molds produce poisonous byproducts called that means fungus, toxins, fungal poisons. These molds are in our air, our food, even in some medications. For example, penicillin is a mycotoxin. Thousands of these have been identified, and most of them actually suppress your immune system. Mycotoxins are well documented as causing inflammation. For example, what makes bread rise? If you get a little wheat in your hand, you just blow it away. Unless you mix it with water, and if you set it on the counter, it becomes a hard ball. Unless you put it in the oven, put a little cake of yeast in it, and then at 350 degrees, slowly. Folks, we aren't 350 degrees. We don't happen in 45 minutes. We're 98.6. So it takes yeast affecting our joints years and years and years before we start hurting, slowly rising all the time. What doctors are calling inflammation, you and I know is what? Good, swelling. Same thing, okay? Mycotoxins are well documented as causing swelling, okay? Now, Doug, what would you do if you had old Arthur living with you, okay? If I had arthritis, I'm sorry, I'm going to start calling it that. If I had arthritis, I'd make an appointment with my doctor and I'd say, Doc, I want to try something. Kaufman told me about this. There's a drug called nystatin. It was invented in Albany, New York in the 1940s by two women doctors. Therefore, New York State in nystatin. I want that drug. There are no side effects to it. You can tell them. And on my website, there is a link right at the top of the website. Click it off. It says doctors and antifungals, how to prescribe them. Print it, 2 pages, take it to your doctor. Then follow my diet. It's on the same website. It's free. All of this is free. Follow the Kaufman 1 diet. Get a far infrared sauna or go to a gym where there's one 3 to 4 evenings a week. Slowly begin to detoxify inside your body. And then move either your body or your residence if your home is growing mold in it. Okay, how do I know if that is true? Go to Home Depot or Lowe's. You know, for 15, 16 bucks, you can buy a mold test plate. Put it in your bedroom or in the bathroom and see if 3 or 4 days there isn't gray fuzz or ugly fuzz, green fuzz growing on that. Folks, that's an indication you're living in a moldy environment. You may be inhaling it, and that stuff goes right to your joints when you do that, okay? So when you think of good old arthritis, think fungus, okay? That's the way to think. Nice talking with you.
Hi everybody, Erin with Eat, Pray, Get Well. Thank you so much for joining me in my kitchen today. And I'm back with another Kaufman approved recipe. I am making a very simple spinach artichoke dip, which would be considered Kaufman 2. I am sauteing 3 cloves of garlic and some olive oil with 2 cups of spinach chopped, not frozen. Fresh is definitely going to taste better. So I'm just going to saute this for a bit until I add my other ingredients. I have 1 cup of Greek yogurt, no sugar, no vanilla, nothing added, 1 can of artichoke hearts. I have 4 ounces of cream cheese, and I'm gonna add a half a teaspoon crushed red pepper, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a pinch of garlic powder and a pinch of black pepper. This recipe is so simple. I have been feeding it to the guys during football season and they absolutely love it. If this went too fast for you, you can also find this recipe at eatpraygetwell.com. Well, thanks so much for watching. I'm Erin for Know the Cause.
Here we are backstage. Folks, a lot of people ask me during live shows questions, and the producers see to it that I get those questions. Maybe I can point you in the right direction. I believe that God heals, but once you're healed, you need to continue listening. Okay, this question came from Vicky. My friend's husband just got out of ICU intensive care with a serious lung infection. He's home now, but back to eating biscuits and gravy and chocolate cake. I understand. I made it through that illness. I didn't die. Give me my chocolate cake, right? I'm afraid for him. Thank you, Vicky, for loving him and being his friend. They've always said you can lead a horse to water, which I've done, but you can't make him drink, which I failed at too. You can't make a horse drink. You need to just surround a very sick person with love and any counsel that you can. I've worked for 50 years in this field and worked with a lot of people who had cancer. The one thing they get tired of is every neighbor, every friend at church, everybody they know becomes an expert. Take this supplement and that will cure cancer. Take this, it'll clear your lungs. And so candidly, they get tired of it. We're all gonna go home one day, right? If I had a serious lung condition, I would find a pulmonologist who would do a bronchoscopy on me. They insert a tube, look into your lungs, right, while you're short anesthesia. And they can take tiny bits of the tissue in the lung and test it for the most important organism, not bacteria, not virus. They can run fungal tests on your lung. How did you get it there? Are you living in a moldy home? Do you work in a moldy building? Right? There's so many ways to get mold and fungus in your lungs. These patients who have had serious lung conditions have been on no shortage of antibiotics. As a matter of fact, it's one antibiotic after another, after another, after another. What if the problem isn't bacteria? What if the problem is fungus? Those antibiotics tend to fuel the fungus. Once a bronchoscopy is done, the doctor will say, aha, you were right. There's candida and phoma and alternaria and all sorts of organisms, fungal organisms in your lung. I'm going to start you on, here's the magic word, antifungal medications. That and the proper diet should help him. Thank you for loving him, Vicky.
There's in no one's best interest for us to be healthy. It's in everyone's best interest for us not to be healthy. Mm-hmm. So that includes the pharmaceutical companies, that includes hospitals, that includes the cancer. Could you imagine if you came up with a cure for cancer, or even decrease the cancer rate by 1%? It'd be huge. Could you imagine? It would be but could you imagine how much money those organizations will all be losing? Yeah. I mean, it's an incredibly. I always tell my patients, and in my newsletters, I always tell people, follow the money trail. Yeah. And if you follow the money trail, you'll find out where it is and why people are doing these things to us, because it's being done to us. We're little lambs being led off to slaughter when it comes to this sort of thing.
It feels like that. It really does, Dr. Pescatore.
The preceding program, Know the Cause, was paid for by Mediatrition Incorporated.